Hey, what's good, everybody? I'd like to welcome you all back to another episode of the Boombox Guru. I'm your host, LB. So, before I begin today's video, I'd like to ask everybody that's tuning in if you could just do me a huge favor. If you could hit that thumbs up and give me a like, if you could give me a share, share this video as well as subscribe to the channel because it does help out a lot. All right, so for today's video, I got another episode of Digging Through the Stacks. In this particular episode, I wanted to focus on the legendary, the iconic Eric Wright, aka Eazy-E. The one of the co-founders of the legendary hip hop group N.W.A, the founder of Ruthless Records, who signed and released countless artists, successful artists, probably most well known Bone Thugs and Harmony, and so forth. But I was looking through my channel and I realized that I haven't done a video on Eazy-E. And Eazy-E has always been one of my favorite rappers. Although he wasn't technically a rapper per se, he was more of a businessman, CEO. But he did release some albums. He did release some projects that were very entertaining, that were very good, that are considered hip hop classics. And not only that, man, but Eazy-E was a visionary. He was a way ahead of his time. If you do your research, if you look into like the type of artists that he signed on his own Ruthless Records and the diversity, the diverse talent that he had on that label, you will see that he was way ahead of what most hip hop moguls were doing at that time. Um, he was just always one of my favorites. He had a unique sound. He had a unique voice that was easily recognizable. And although he may not have been particularly gifted as a rapper, he was definitely gifted as a star. Easy had that charisma. Anytime you think about N.W.A, Eazy is. I will argue that Eazy is probably the number one thing that's gonna pop up in your face. Even though Ice Cube and Dr. Dre went on to have great commercial success after they left the group, uh, to me it can't be denied that Eazy-E was the face of N.W.A. I mean, I think at one point they were even known as Eazy-E and N.W.A. But Eazy-E, he did release some classic projects. He doesn't have a huge discography, but so this video probably won't be too long. But I just wanted to talk about the albums that I do have in my CD collection, and I'm gonna really just focus on Eazy-E solo output, man. So I'm not gonna be talking about the N.W.A albums or anything like that. I just wanted to keep this video strictly focused on Eazy-E solo output. And I wanna also give a huge shout out to B Knox TV. I don't know if he'll ever see this come across my video, but I just wanted to let it be known that his video on Eazy-E is what actually inspired me to do my video. I want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. And be sure to check out his video on Eazy-E. He did a really great job at breaking down Eazy-E's solo career, his solo albums, projects, as well as really breaking down the ruthless family tree that was started by Eazy-E. So he goes through Eazy-E's solo output as well as focuses on a few of the artists that he signed to his label and how their careers actually spurred from Eazy-E. Because if you really do your research on Eazy-E, you will see that his family tree of artists really helped to define and like shape the West Coast hip hop scene as we know it. And I mean his family tree goes well beyond just Los Angeles. I mean it branches out into the Midwest and even into the East Coast to some extent, man. And just think about Bone Thugs and Harmony. There would be no Bone Thugs and Harmony if it wasn't for Eazy-E. And even to an even further extent, man, you could think that there would be no Eminem or 50 Cent. I know both of those gentlemen came out under Dr. Dre, but you got to think about the family tree. Dre and Eazy both came from N.W.A. They both came from Ruthless. They both started with Alonzo Williams, or they were connected with Alonzo Williams. All of that really branched out. Once Ruthless Records started, all of that really branched out from Eazy-E. There would be no Death Row Records if it wasn't for Eazy-E. So there would be no Snoop Dogg or Dogg Pound or Nate Dogg or any of those people, man. Like all of that branched from Eazy's Ruthless Records family tree. But yeah, today's video, I'm just gonna focus on Eazy-E's solo albums because like I said, I've never talked about his albums on this channel, and I wanted to really just highlight that and really pay tribute to someone who I consider one of my favorite my favorite rappers in hip hop. Okay, so the first album that we're going to talk about is, of course, we're going to talk about Eazy-E's debut solo album, which was Eazy-Duz-It, released in 1988. And I actually have two versions of this album on CD. These are the two versions that are on right here. So I'm going to talk about them one at a time. All right, so this version right here, this is the 2002 reissue that was put out. And as you can see, it has a red, like, jewel case, red tint jewel case. And this version also comes with the 5150 EP that came out in 92. That's also on this disc. It's included as, I guess you could say, bonus tracks on this disc, along with the original album right here. Let's see what else. Let me show you. This is what the CD looks like. Let me hold it better so you guys can see it. That's what the CD looks like. And there's also a picture of Eazy-E right there in the CD tray. So that's the 2002 reissue that came out. I actually had two versions of, I actually own two versions of this one, because I initially found it at Walmart. They had these at Walmart. You know, back in the day, Walmart used to sell censored music, but I think my birthday came up not long after that. And my mother, my late mother, she actually bought me the uncensored version at Best Buy. I remember that day. She bought this, and it was Too Short's Get In Where You Fit In. She bought me both of those at Best Buy. And I'm not sure if it was my birthday or if it was around Christmas. It was either one of the two, but I remember us going to Best Buy one weekend, and she bought me those. She bought me the uncensored version, the Eazy-Duz-It, and Too Short's Get In Where You Fit In. But also, this also has some pretty cool liner notes. Here goes some of the liner notes that go along with them. As you see, it's both pertaining to both releases, the 5150 EP and the Eazy-Duz-It album. And it also folds out into a poster. This also folds out into a poster, as you can see right here. I don't know. I might put this up on my wall one day. I don't know. But I already got a picture of Eazy-E up here somewhere. You can't see it. It's over on the side. But yeah, it also folds out into a poster. Well, I'll fix that later. So this version, this is the 25th anniversary edition. And when did this come out? 2013. This came out 2013. This is the 25th anniversary edition. This version is more, it's more true to the original 1988 CD, the original 1988 compact disc. It's more true to that. The only difference is it has, what is now the standard warning label, but also it has the old one down there at the bottom, if you can see it. Cover art's a little bit darker than that reissue. And as you can see, the back cover is pretty much the same as the original 1988 compact disc. The only difference is there's two bonus tracks right here. It's the 12-inch remix of We Want Eazy and Still Talking Ish, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to buy this. Also, I'll show you the disc. Here's the disc, pretty much like the original 88 compact disc. Just some slight differences. Let's see what else. Yeah, here's the liner notes. Includes two messages from MC Ren and DJ Yella, who were both original members of N.W.A. This is the inside. Not much in the inside. It's pretty much just like the original CD that came out back in '88. So that's the 25th anniversary. Like I said, I bought this one because it had those two remixes. Of We Want Eazy and Still Talking, which those remixes are really dope. I listened to it on Spotify not too long ago, man, and those remixes were really dope. So I had to jump on getting that version as well. Well, I'll fix that later. But yeah, We Want Eazy-Duz-It, one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever released. And this album came out 3 months after Straight Outta Compton. I know, and I'm saying this because DJ Vlad TV, around the time when the Straight Outta Compton movie was out, he was interviewing a lot of people that were that were signed to Ruthless, that were close to Eazy and everything. And he kept making the error of saying that Eazy-Duz-It came out before Straight Outta Compton, which is totally wrong. That doesn't even make any sense. And he was supposed to have been sitting there doing his research, but he still came up with that wrong answer. No, Straight Outta Compton came out, I think, in August of '88. This came out, I think, November of '88. But Dr. Dre, he was working on both albums simultaneously. But yeah, Straight Outta Compton came out first, then it was Eazy-Duz-It. Even though Eazy-Duz-It, even though it's a solo album, I've always looked at it as being an extension of Straight Outta Compton, because even though the focus is Eazy-E, this is very much a group effort. I mean, if you look at the cover, you can see some of the members of N.W.A. You can clearly see Ren right there standing behind Eazy-E, and then there's Cube standing behind Ren. I think he's holding a baseball bat. I think Dre and Yella and some other people are over here on this side. I think you can see Dre and them back there. But it's definitely a group effort. I mean, group effort. I mean, you can hear Cube and Dre and all of them using ad-libs, features, and stuff like that all over the record. Just a classic record. You know, let's see, what's some of the classic songs I like on here. I like the whole entire album, but you know, the first track, Still Talking, which was a great album opener. Nobody Move, which features some brief appearances from MC Ren. Ruthless Villain, which is a Ren solo track, him freestyling. Two Hard Mothers, which is a dope duet between Eazy and MC Ren, one of my favorite tracks on the album. And also DJ Yella plays live drums on there. Just a funky hip hop number. The Boys in the Hood remix, which I think this version is the best version. You know, I do like the original version that was more gritty, but the remix is the most popular and well-known version. This is the one that's always mostly sampled, the one that everybody quotes, the one that everybody knows the most. Eazy-Duz-It, the title track, one of Eazy's best songs. Another one that's always being sampled by so many people. I think the most recent one was when Kanye West, he sampled it for his song Eazy, the one where he was dissing where he dissed what's his name? I forget that comedian's name that was dating Kim K, but he dissed him in the video. Then of course We Want Eazy, which was the huge single from the record, huge hit, popular song. What else? Easier Said Than Done, Radio, No More Questions. This whole entire album was just a classic. And like I said, man, I had to get this because of those two bonus tracks. Those 12-inch remixes of We Want Eazy and Still Talking are really great. That's how remixes are supposed to be done. They're supposed to be like sort of still kind of true to the original, but also have some uniqueness that makes it stand apart. That's what those remixes do. But just a classic record. And you know something? This was the only album that Eazy-E, the only full-length album that Eazy-E released in his lifetime. All the other projects that came out after this, they were just EP. So this was his only full-length album, and it's his classic record. This is his classic record. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to follow up a full-length record where you could argue which album of his was the best, but it's pretty much solidified that this is Eazy's classic. You know, it was a part of a really great era in hip hop, and you know, it's still celebrated to this day, and rappers still quote lyrics from this album. A lot of rappers even today still sample a lot of the songs from here. It still has a profound impact on hip hop. So this is definitely Eazy's classic, man. If you've never heard this album, definitely go check it out, as well as N.W.A, Straight Outta Compton, because both of these records go hand in hand. But yeah, that's Eazy-Duz-It, released in 1988 on Ruthless Priority Records, man. Check this one out. Alright, so next CD album I'm going to talk about is the 5150 EP, released in 1992. I briefly touched on this when I was discussing the Eazy-Duz-It album, but this is the 5150 EP, released in 1992. This was Eazy-E's first release after the breakup of N.W.A, and it was also I believe this was the last project to be released through Priority. I think after this, everything that Ruthless put out came out through Relativity Records. So BG Knockout, he's been doing a new interview on Vlad TV recently, and he said something on there that, you know, it's his opinion, but he said that the 5150 EP was the wackest project that Eazy-E ever put out. Or I don't know if he used Did he use those words per se? I just know he said that he thought that the 5150 EP was whack. That's his opinion, you know. That's his opinion, to each his own. But personally, man, I don't think so. I think the 5150 EP was really dope. It's a 5-song EP, technically a 4-song EP, because the first track is an intro, but that intro is very significant. A reason being is because I believe that intro was the first time that Eazy actually took a shot at Dr. Dre. He doesn't call him out by name. He doesn't call him out directly, but you can tell by the way he's talking. We all know who he's talking about. And I don't know if Eazy was the one who took the first shot. I'm not sure if it was Dre with the Chronic. I know the Chronic came out somewhere around this time. I'm not sure. Maybe some of you who were there of age at the time, maybe y'all can clarify in the comments. Let me know who took the first shot. But it's definitely Eazy talking about Dre on that intro. But there's a lot of good tracks on here. I think this was a strong 4-track EP. I wish it would have been a full-length album, honestly. I wish it would have just been a full-length album. But you know, it has a different production style because Dr. Dre's not there. You know, Naughty by Nature contributes production on here, as well as like Big Hutch, Code 187. Some of the people that ended up taking up the reins of production after Dre left at Ruthless, man. But so it's got a different sound than what was on Eazy-Duz-It, but I still think that it was good. I still think that these 4 songs were hard. You know what I'm saying? Only If You Want It, which was produced by Naughty by Nature, which was also one of the singles from this EP. You can definitely tell that that Tretch wrote that song. You can tell by the way that Eazy is rhyming, like the cadence that he uses on the track. That's definitely Tretch from Naughty by Nature, man. But still a dope track. And also I remember this was way back in the day of YouTube. This is when YouTube first started to really get popular, before they started adding all the restrictions and policies. There used to be an uncensored version of the Only If You Want It video on YouTube. I remember, because there's a part in the video where there's like a wet t-shirt contest or something, where Eazy spraying a water hose on these women in wet t-shirts. And yeah, you can pretty much see a lot of everything. You can see a lot of everything. I just put it to you that way. But I doubt that version is even available on YouTube these days. Neighborhood Sniper, that's another highlight. That was also a single from the record too. Real dope video with Eazy-E playing a sniper. Very hard song, very sinister, very dark. I think Cocaine on the hook. I'm not sure if Cocaine. I don't think that was Cocaine on the hook. Some people said Cocaine was on that hook, but I thought it was this reggae singer. I thought it was the same reggae singer that they used on Always Into Something. I believe it was that guy. But yeah, produced by Code 187, Big Hutch from Above the Law. N.W.A's My Height Don't Fight. That's another standout, another banger on here. Produced by Bobcat, who also was known for producing for Tupac as well. And probably the biggest highlight on this album, Merry MF and Christmas, which was a posse cut that featured a lot of the artists on Ruthless Records at that time. Will.I.Am actually makes his first appearance on the record on that particular song. He was known as Will one time during this period, man. This was around the time when when he was in that band Clan, which would later morph into the Black Eyed Peas. So yeah, Eazy-E actually had the Black Eyed Peas before they blew up, before they became who we know them today. You know, Will.I.Am and Alpity App, and I think it was 2 other gentlemen. They had a group called At Band Clan that actually recorded the album on Ruthless. They got shelved after Eazy-E's death, but it ended up getting released by a label overseas. I think about three or 4 years ago. I'm not sure. I think it was called Puddles of H2O or something like that. They actually had a single and a video that they shot that you can find on YouTube. Just type in That Band Clan and it should pop up. But yeah, that goes to show you the vision that Eazy-E had. He already had tapped into the Black Eyed Peas early on. But yeah, that song Merry MF and Christmas, I remember back when I was a teenager, man, that used to be like a tradition to me to jam out to that song around the holidays. I don't do it so much today, but it's a funny song, man. You just gotta hear the song. They talking about getting all kinds of guns and drugs and all kinds of stuff like that, and you got a ghetto Santa Claus that's like jacking people and like messing with moms and stuff like that. It's a crazy song. But yeah, I think these songs were supposed to appear on well, was supposed to be Eazy's upcoming studio album called Temporary Insanity, which I don't know if you guys can see it, but right here below the track list, it says from the upcoming album Temporary Insanity. But that record never materialized, unfortunately. And I believe this is an original pressing. This is an original pressing. This is what the original CD looks like. This is what the CD looks like and everything like that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, BG Knockout, that's his opinion, man. But I think for this to been like only a 4-track EP, I think this was a dope project, man. But I do wish it would have been a full-length album. But yeah, 5150 Home for the Sick, man. It's one of my favorite Eazy-E projects, man. I really enjoyed today. Really enjoyed it, man. So check it out. You know, check it out. Real dope project. Some real hard hitting songs. Some great West Coast hip hop. This was before West Coast hip hop changed to the more G-funk sound. You know, it still had that more gritty kind of raw funk approach. Before like G-funk really took over. But yeah, still a dope project. So check this one out. Don't sleep on it. Maybe only 4 songs, but some really strong 4 songs on this EP. All right, so the next album that we're going to talk about, and this is probably a lot of people's favorites from the post like N.W.A. Dre era, it's on Dre, 187 Killer, released in 1993. This is a reissue. This isn't the original version. I don't know when this reissue came out. I remember they reissued this like around the time when Straight Outta Compton was coming out. But it's always been readily available. Probably one of his most accessible projects from the post like priority years. And then this was the Eazy-E's first. I think this was the first Ruthless project to come out on Relativity. I might be wrong about that, but it was definitely Eazy's first project to come out on Relativity. I believe, man. But yeah, it's on Dre, 187 Killer. Yeah, this is another EP. But it's more songs. It's 8 songs, technically 7, because the first track is an intro. But that intro is really dope. So this is it right here. This is the back cover. That's one of the most popular pictures of Eazy-E from this back cover. And let's see. Here's the disc. This is the disc. That's what it looks like. This reissue pretty much stayed true to the original version. I gotta show you these liner notes. Gotta show you the liner notes. So this EP came out during the height of the Death Row Ruthless beef. You know, Dre had dissed Eazy-E all over the all over the Chronic album, and this EP was this was Eazy's response. So here's the liner notes. That's Dr. Dre right there. That's Dr. Dre during his world-class Wrecking Crew days. You know, Dr. Dre, he was known as the Doctor. That's the outfit that he wore. That's the outfit that he wore right there. As you can see, it's got a mock newspaper saying born 2nd 1965, died 10 the 25th 93. It's also got a message on there. Oh, it's got it's pointing out like him wearing eyeshadow and eyeliner and lipstick and the fake tooth just like him. Yeah, sequins. Like, you know, this was during the like early mid 80s. This is around the time when Prince got real popular. So a lot of artists of that whole electro funk period, all of them were trying to mimic what Prince and all of them were doing. Really cool, man. Here's some of the liner notes. There's a picture of Eazy holding a gun, a pistol. That's another popular Eazy-E picture. It's got credits on here. Oh yeah, and yeah, I wanted to read these credits because it says gangstered from the upcoming album Straight Off the Streets of MF and Compton 1 and 2. Yeah, this Eazy EP is dedicated in memory of my B word, Andre Dr. Dre Young. Yeah, so yeah. Do you remember the Dexter Wiggle? I don't know what that. I guess that was some kind of dance that was real popular in the 80s. But yeah, man, most of this EP is dedicated to responding to Dr. Dre, because Dr. Dre dissed Eazy all over the Chronic, as well as Snoop Dogg. It was mainly Dre and Snoop, and someone, I guess the Dog Pound, some of them. I just remember on the Chronic. Now that I think about it, I just remember like Dre and Snoop mainly being the ones dissing, and then There were some skits. There were some skits too that took shots at him, like that one, that 20 sack dollar pyramid, where the DOC and whoever else that was, that they was like kind of taking shots at Eazy. But yeah, this EP was a response to Dre and them, to Death Row. And of course, man, this included another one of Eazy's biggest hits, called Real Compton City G's. That's what I'm going to refer to it on this video. It's got a different title that's more uncensored, it's more explicit, called Real MF and G's, but I'm gonna refer to it as Real Compton City G's, which featured Gangsta Dresta and BG Knockout, which was their introduction to the masses. One of the greatest diss tracks of all time, and I feel like it's very underrated. You know, when a lot of people talk about great diss tracks, I never hear a lot of people bring up Real Compton City G's. They kind of skip over that. And some, you know, and to tell you the truth, I never really hear people talk about like Dre Day that much either. But no, well, you know, I take that back. I do hear people mention Dre Day. I do hear people mention Dre Day. But people seem to underrate Real Compton City G's, and that was a great diss. That was a hard diss, man. Like, I mean, he called out Dr. Dre by name. All of them did. All three of them called out Dre by name. You know, a lot of people, and this is no disrespect to Tupac or anything, because I'm a Tupac fan as well. But a lot of people talk about Hit 'Em Up was like the first time a rap artist actually called out their enemies by name on a diss track, but it really wasn't. And I'm not sure if Eazy-E was the first time that happened. I wouldn't even say that was the first time. Like KRS-One did it. KRS-One did it during the Juice Crew battle. You know, on The Bridge Is Over. He called all of them out by name. But it's just that this record, as far as like West Coast, people kind of like skip over it. People talk about No Vaseline, then they kind of skip over this one and go to Hit 'Em Up and so forth. But this was a real hard track, and the video makes the diss song even better, because Eazy-E, he shot the video in Compton, in the city of Compton, and he had the whole hood behind him. He had the hood behind him in that video. That was like the real hood behind him. That just shows you the magnitude and the respect that Eazy had in Compton. But a real dope diss track, man. And I think real ones respect that song and they give it its credit. It's just sometimes the masses kind of overlook it a bit. But so many other great tracks on here, man. Like Any Last Words, Still an N-Word, Give Me That Nut, which is a silly sex song, which is something that started to become a trademark with Eazy-E around this time. But it's fun. Its Own, Boys in the Hood G Mix, pretty dope remix of a classic song. But like I said, my favorite is the remix from the Eazy-Duz-It album, and Down to the Last Roach, which is a Smoke song. But really dope EP. I would say I like this one better than 5150, even though I really dig 5150. I just wish that this one would have been a full-length album too, because I mean, it's got 8 tracks on here, man. If they could have thrown a few more songs on there, it would have been a full-length album. And I think that I don't think it would have been better. It definitely wouldn't have been better than Eazy-Duz-It, but still, I think it would have been an even bigger classic in its own right if it had been a full-length release, man. But yeah, it was before to be the 8-track EP. I think it was really dope, and I like it. I enjoyed it a lot. I listened to this one a whole lot when it comes to Eazy-E, and a real dope album cover as well. Eazy-E standing on the block with some pouring out the liquor, you know, signifying like somebody's death, whatever, basically talking about Dr. Dre and so forth. But real strong album, and I'm pretty sure that this was Eazy-E's last project to be released in his lifetime. Yeah, he didn't get a chance to release anything else after this due to his untimely death. But yeah, Eazy-Duz-It, Its Own Dre, 187 Killer, released in 1993, classic EP. Definitely one that I recommend anybody to go check out and listen to, just because of the sheer history behind it. You know, just a great collection of 8 songs on this album. So check this one out too. And this one has more of that G-Funk sound as well. Like, as opposed to like 5150, the sound on this one is more of that West Coast G-Funk as well. But real dope track, real dope album. Alright, so the last album that we're going to talk about on today's video, this is straight off the streets of Compton. It has a as you can see by there, it also has more to that title called "Straight Off the Streets of MF and Compton." But I'm just gonna call it straight off the streets of Compton, released in 1996. So this was Eazy-E's first posthumous hip hop album, his first posthumous album that came out after his death, because Eazy-E passed away in March of '95. And DJ Yella, who was a member of N.W.A, DJ Yella, he had a lot to do with putting this album together. I believe what they did was there was a whole bunch of like leftover like Eazy-E songs and verses that he didn't get a chance to complete, and they just kind of took a lot of those verses and they pretty much came up with this record, and they finished this album. And I believe it was originally supposed to have been a double album, but like Eazy didn't get a chance to do it because he got sick, and then he ended up dying really quick. This is one of the best posthumous hip hop albums I've ever listened to. DJ Yella and everybody that was involved on this, they did a really great job at putting this together, because a lot of times when I listen to this album, it doesn't even seem like it was a true posthumous album. It kind of feels like maybe Eazy-E had this album recorded already and tucked away, and they just decided to put it out. But nah, they actually took leftover verses and they managed to finish it and put it together. But it's one of the dopest albums in Eazy-E's catalog, man. It's, unfortunately, I wish he would have been able to live to actually put the album out the way he wanted to, but they did a great job at putting this together. It almost kind of feels like Eazy had creative input in putting this together. But you can tell that most of these songs were probably recorded around 93 or maybe 94, because there's all kinds of disses toward Death Row on this album. After the its own Dre 187 Killer EP, Death Row responded. The Dog Pound responded with "What Would You Do." I don't think Snoop responded anymore, because he was dealing with that murder trial at the time. But yeah, I think the Dog Pound were the main ones that that responded back. But yeah, there's disses towards Dre and Snoop and Dog Pound and Death Row in general all over this record. So you can tell that this record was probably recorded around that 93, 94 era, man. But a lot of great songs on here, like Old School Ish, featuring BG Knockout, Gangsta Drace, and I think Silky Fawn is on this track too, man. That song is so hard. Again, they all responding and taking shots at Dre, Snoop, and Death Row and everything like that. Great track, hard track, man. Sorry Louie is another great one. Just to Let You Know, that's another banging joint on here too, with Eazy taking some more shots at Dre and them. Sipping on a 40 is one of my favorites on here with BG Knockout and Gangsta Dre. So that's a hard track. Nuts on Your Chin, produced by Naughty by Nature. That's another great one. That's probably my favorite on this album. Like, that song pops up in my head throughout my day most of the time, even years later. Like, I could just be doing something totally unrelated to music, and that song will pop up in my head because the chorus is funny and it's catchy. But another dope song, The Real featuring MC Ren, is another great one. Let's see, Hit the Hooker. That's a nice joint. I think Naughty by Nature. I think that's another one that Naughty by Nature. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Naughty by Nature produced that one too, cause it's got their kind of that song's got their sound. My Baby's Mama. That's a dope one. Creep and Crawl. Creep and Crawl is another favorite on here. That song is hard, man. And again, Eazy takes some more shots at Dre and them on that track, but that song go hard. What Would You Do, which was a response to the Dog Pounds, What Would You Do? The hardest song on the album, man. It's got a rapper named Dirty Red on there, who I think was signed to Ruthless. But man, they eviscerate like the Dog Pound and Dre and them. Like, the way Eazy's verse is my favorite, man. The way Eazy, I mean, I know Eazy more than likely didn't write that verse, but still, it was still so good. And the way he delivered it was so dope. Like, he just took out Daz and Corrupt and Snoop and Dre one by one. And the way he did it, man, like, especially that part where he dissed Daz, where he said, nah diggity diggity Daz, I biggity bitty blast. And like, I'm like, dang, Eazy went hard on each one of them. How he just dissed them one by one. That was hard, man. Gangsta Beat for the Street. I used to didn't really like this song that much, man, but back in the day. But now that I'm a little older and I went back and listened to it, I actually really dig that song, and I can kind of see how it's more of a tribute to Eazy. Eazy has a verse on there, but I can see how the other artists how they got on there, and it's more of like a tribute to him. It was a fitting end to the album. Uh, oh yeah, Eternal E was a really dope outro. Uh, real G bouncy G funk beat. I think it like puts together like a bunch of like Eazy-E like kind of interviews and stuff like that. And another fitting tribute to Eazy, man. But man, one of the dopest posthumous hip hop albums ever created, man. Like they did such a good job at like just bringing all of this together. Let me show you guys the disc too. I'm gonna show you guys the disc. Yeah, this is what the disc look. This is the disc. This is what it looks like. That's a pistol. Look like, yeah, that's a pistol on there. And then this is the excuse me. This is a picture. Hold on. This is a picture on the inside tray right there. That's Eazy right there. Trying to see what else. Some more pictures of Eazy-E right there. Yeah, and here's the liner notes. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's a dead body or something right there. Hope I don't think YouTube would kick me off for that, but yeah, that's like a dead body or something. Probably supposed to be Dre or somebody. I don't know, or maybe not. I'm not really sure. Doesn't really say, but yeah. Oh, I guess that's a gauge, man. That's a gauge. That's a pump. That's a gauge, man. That's what that is. But yeah, really dope album. Really dope album. One of the best posthumous hip hop albums ever. I know I'm gonna repeat myself, but still, just can't stress that enough, man. This was real dope. Real dope album. I bought this. When did I get this? I got this when I was in high school, and I don't know. I think this might be like an OG pressing. I'm not sure. I don't even remember where I got this from. I want to say I got it off of CD Universe. That was back when CD Universe was really popping. But I think this might be, yeah, I think this might be like an OG version, considering the way the case looks and everything, because they don't make jewel cases like that anymore. With those like kind of dividers right there. But yeah, man, this is one of the dopest Eazy-E albums, man. Real dope. Put together real well. It makes you kind of wonder what would have happened if Eazy would have lived and the stuff would have came out as the way it did, man. But still a phenomenal record. One of my favorites from him. Really dig it, man. And yeah, definitely check that one out too, man. It's hard. That's one of the hardest Eazy-E albums I've ever heard. You know, this is very dark. I would say it's on the lines of like horrorcore. Oh yeah, like the style of horrorcore with some of the music, man. But definitely a dope album. All right, so that's it for this video. This episode of Digging Through the Stacks, discussing Eazy-E, one of my favorite rappers of all time, man. You know, like I said, I know Eazy wasn't technically really like a rapper per se, but he was a star, man. And you know, the music he put out was good. He always had a great team of people behind him when putting together these albums and so forth. So even though he wasn't really like the guy that was sitting down writing those lyrics, it doesn't really matter to me, man. He had a unique voice that was easily recognizable, and he had a great team of people to work with that helped him to cultivate and put out some great records. So to me, he's one of my favorites. I really enjoy everything that he did, that he put out. There's also several other Eazy-E projects that came out later. There's been like several compilations that came out. I forget that one Eazy-E compilation album that came out like in 96, I believe, 98. I forget, but Ruthless put out another Eazy-E compilation record. I can't think of the name of it, but it's a very popular compilation album. But I think that album included like some unreleased Eazy-E songs on there as well. Then there was the Impact of a Legend EP that came out like in the early 2000s, which I think was like the final Eazy-E project to come out with like unreleased music and stuff like that. It also had a video game, a PC game that came with it called Hidden Switches. That was pretty cool. And then there's been various compilations that come out of N.W.A and Eazy-E that pretty much just compiles, you know, previously already heard songs like throughout the years and stuff like that. But yeah, Eazy-E, man, one of the greatest hip hop icons to have ever lived, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, unfortunately he passed away back in 1995, and I think Eazy-E doesn't really get the respect that he deserves sometimes, man, because of the circumstances surrounding his death and so forth, man. But he was very pivotal. He was a very pivotal figure in hip hop. A lot of rappers wouldn't be rapping about the things that they talk about in their music if it weren't for Eazy-E. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the first to do it, but him and N.W.A definitely broke down the doors, and they started a whole movement. And like I said, his family tree, Eazy-E's family tree, pretty much reshaped and made the West Coast hip hop scene as we know it today. Just do your research and look it up, man. But his family tree it's just crazy to see it was so much that cultivated from him, man. Like he planted that seed that cultivated and sprouted so many careers, man. That's even going on today. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. A big shout out to his son, his oldest son, Lil Eazy-E, that's still out there doing his thing, keeping his father's legacy alive. All his children, his daughters, everybody that's keeping his legacy going, that's making it known that this was the guy too, man. This was the guy. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. And once again, if you did enjoy this video, just like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I want to thank everybody that's been supporting the channel and that's been watching the videos, leaving really good comments and everything like that. And as always, hope everybody has a blessed day, a blessed week, and love, peace, and music. Peace out, y'all.